No, Eugene's been on the line with me since
I understand that, but I'm saying we didn't have him scheduled. That's what I'm saying. I got you. Go ahead, honey. Go ahead.
Well, I'll only take a minute of your time.
Okay, hi, Eugene. How are you?
How you doing? But this is the point.
Shirley, I talk about you to Eugene all the time.
You said in part of your stuff that's really correct, it takes one person to beat them. Well, I did beat them bad. Mm-hmm. And the point is that they forged the trials. And if you get your tape and your transcript, you can show this. I already have a forged transcript. They don't know what to do with it. They said this will never happen again. In Chicago, this happened. I'm only one of maybe 90,000 people that won. Nobody else won. They had to change it again. Basically, I know the ghetto system. I grew up in the daily system since I was 8, and I knew this was going on since then. They forge your transcripts. They're not forged by the court reporter. They're forged by the government and the city. It's given by the court reporter to that side. They change it and switch it over, and you're bought a forged transcript, and you're fighting something that you can't win because it doesn't exist. And basically do it in the minority communities because they have no help, no money, and no process to do this. We spent over $500,000 in beating them, and we've got their judges' decisions that we did this. In our book, we've got all the evidence, but it isn't ours. It's their evidence against them, just what you were talking about. So basically, I don't want to waste your time on this, but they can be beaten. They are beaten already, and once this comes, that's why they held it back so long, is because they had a case which shows all the fraud. I got the first rough draft by accident, and I certified it, and they had to keep it as my transcript. And the judge said in court, I proved crystal clear that they cheated, and they lied, and they frauded. And there's no doubt.
He's the only person to have ever won against this kind of fraud in America. What they're doing to all of us in the system.
I did it because I grew up in the system. They told me how to beat it. It goes from the mob to the politicians to the rich people, and all the 80% in the middle pay for everything. The ones at the end that they're afraid of, they give them freebies so they don't have to worry about revolting, and the ones at the top take your money. Basically, they run the economy, and their bank is the economy. Mm-hmm. So basically, I knew this from everybody, but they didn't realize somebody with a photographic memory. And I remember everything they did. I can tell you, even when Brian Barrett Duff was the judge in this case, I can tell you who did it. I've talked to some Supreme Court justices. I've talked to a lot of people. So you can get your way in without being a lawyer and a professor. And what I did was let them frame me so that when I come up with the evidence, they couldn't prove it. They couldn't go against me. It was one of the worst cases you're ever going to read, because it was so stupid, so unbelievable. It's done by 3 different type recorders. Plus, if you've ever been to Hollywood, and I have, it's got the way you do a script. It's got the stamps on it on the back showing that one of the pages wasn't fully transcribed yet. They were still rough drafting it. They had to give it to me because they took the case out of my hands because I wanted pro se, and they didn't want me to go for the money damages myself. I also can prove that you can look up a Dr. Jan Fawcett testifies for me, and he took his testimony out. So basically, this guy is a real top psychiatrist, and basically they owe all kinds of money, and they can't have this out because it shows that they forge almost all your cases. That's how they take the children, put people in jail, and do everything else. There's nothing you can do. I'll tell you one case I listened to real fast, and this is all I'll take your time. A black kid was in jail, and they brought him out, and they had him in the courtroom. And they said to him, if I told you, and he testified, and then he said, if I told you said this during your deposition, were you lying then or were you lying now? Well, he was never lying. They just changed one of them and made him look like a liar to the court. And what they do is, and I'm going to tell you, basically we can prove this, they have a jury there. After that jury is done, they say they're going to take a different court the jury didn't understand. The stuff is forged, sent to the appellate court, it's changed, and the next time he's convicted. So you can take it from there and prove this without a shadow of a doubt.
And they do this to everyone exactly the same. That's why so many cases are so similar, is because they only meet one way in the entire court system. And they don't give anybody their recordings or their doctor transcripts, because that's the evidence that you need to prove that you have been cheated in court, that everybody's been cheated in court. And his case proves everybody in America has never gotten a due process.
And basically, my fraud, I don't need the tape. I beat them without the tape and show the fraud without the tape. That's the key. The rest of you are going to need your tape in the beginning to show that there's fraud in there. And you've got to remember one thing now, is that kidnapping, murder, and fraud upon the court has no statutes of limitations. Once you prove the fraud, your case is sent back. Everything is diluted. You then win your case, and you've got them for fraud. So basically, while they got us in this trap, I came out of their system and caught them in their own trap.
Do you guys understand how that works?
It affects everybody. This is nunc pro tunc. We're finding this out. They've known this. They think that everybody is asleep, but everybody is not asleep because we have been watching.
I have a guy right out here in Los Angeles County, the largest trial court in the world. He's the only guy, a little Hispanic guy, a friend of mine. He's the only one that has that code book that they use to be able to access that CUSIP number. He has the code. It tells from the uniform you get in, when you go to jail, he has it. He is after this boy so bad that the guy who was the court clerk for over 40 plus years, he resigned. So we know what they've been doing. They know.
Yes. And the codes are now all done automatic by computer. The docket system is the code system. It's a double booking docket system in all of America and all of the world. It comes out of Israel. And it's the cheat game. It's the Ponzi cheat game is in everything now, all over the world. They have different ways they cheat.
We need to stop
profit.
Well, you see, everything is based on the court system. Once the rich control the judge and they make a decision, then the little underlings, and it's called patronage, put you away, and you lose and you have nothing to say. And it's as simple as what I'm saying, but the problem is, I come from outside your system. I come from Word Air Act. I grew up in it. I knew this game at 6 and 8 years old and tell it by heart. But here's the point. A lot of people out there fighting one another, just like you're saying. People are saying, no, this ain't the way to go. That's the way to go. Everybody wants to be the leader. Well, I don't want to be the leader. I just want to get it out, what they did, and get what's coming to me, because they had to hide some of the damages because they hid the doctor on me. Now, there's a professor. You guys are from Los Angeles, probably. Lawrence Rosenthal. He stole out my audio tape from the appellate court because they had to change it. As a matter of fact, when I won the case, they were supposed to change it from a Shackman to Zora to Chicago, but they hid that because it would destroy the court system. I wasn't supposed to win. They didn't even have insurance for the people that would win. They were so sure to set it up. It was a decree, and a decree is a case where you can't appeal. It's a contract. So I took them to the cleaners. They gave me $250,000. They let me win the show. There is no such thing, but they try to hold my damages back, and they can't do it. Once we get this out, everybody realizes what they're doing to you guys. All they're doing is just cheating you. And when I came to California, no one in California knew nothing. I met this guy, Bill, and he was praying on his knees and wondering what he could do to write a brief. I looked at him and I said, hey, man, didn't you realize you're just being cheated? You can write all you want, and you're not going to win.
Well, let me say this. I think if we just shut down those trusts, that'll stop it, because if there's no incentive for them, there's no reason for them to do it. Remember, every time they bring you in court, even for a traffic ticket, that gives them the authority to access those trusts. And those trusts...
We need to shut down the court system.
No, you don't have to do that. If there's no money... Listen to me. If there's no money, there will be no reason to take your children. There will be no reason to even bring you in there. You shut down the money.
We're working, and once they break up the family, they break up everything. Hitler did that too. If you remember in 1939, where the children would turn in their own parents. But here's the key. You have a federal judge in my case saying this one thing. Now, think about this in your head. if I give you your tape, everybody's going to want their tape, and they'll be playing them on TV every night. That meant that federal judge knew there's cheating going on in the tapes. It won't be his mind because I got the original draft, but you're going to have some kind of fraud showing that the case has got to be thrown out and it's in favor of you. And there'll always be some kind of money system.
But wait a minute, hold up. Even that you won that, and somebody else won. We got to find what is the common denominator to even want to bring you in that court.
The tape.
No, that's not the common. No.
Oh, yes.
No, baby, no. The common denominator, they want access to the trust. The Pope has told you that.
Right.
So but wait a minute. Listen, let's find the common denominator. You could talk about you won this, I could talk about I won this one, somebody else could talk. But the common denominator is the money. You shut the money down. Wait a minute. Why can't we ask the Justice Department to shut all the trusts down?
Because
shut that down.
With them.
No, they're not. That's why I disagree. No. That's why. Let me hold up. See, that's why. Hold on, Eugene. That's why I'm hesitant to bring people on because they may not be up to stuff. But right now, the Pope and this president is telling them to shut the trust down. And he said he can do a lot, but he's going to need our help. So, no, they're not in cahoots, because if they were, they wouldn't have taken away the people's immunity. So now we know what the common denominator for all cases, from a traffic ticket to a murder case and all between, is to have access to the trust. So we can do, as American citizens, is write to the president, the Justice Department, and the Oversight Committee, and say, shut the trust down. And once you shut that down, you don't have to worry about tickets anymore, fines, fees.
What happens to the people that died because they were cheated in court and lost their stuff before?
Again, if you had been here earlier, I just told you.
I was here. I heard you. A lot of good things were said.
They're going to restore the people, of course.
Yeah, Shirley, I get it. I hear you there, sir, because you're talking about the irreparable harm that has occurred.
Right. And it's not going to help everybody. Some people, they're going to do what they can. But if somebody dies, bless their heart, you'll never be able to bring that life back. But we understand. But at least make them give a start. Thus far, they haven't started. The fact that they're trying to make a amends. So what we need to do, I think, we need to come together and see what else it is that we might want them to add while they're making amends. Right now, for immediate relief, we need to actually shut those trusts down. And that's what this guy out here is doing.
Here's the point with this is the president and them don't really control the country. If you knew what was going on in Chicago in the 60s, you'd know who was controlling the country.
I know about the Gray Lord scheme and all that. Mm-hmm. I know that. But this is a new day. See, this is again, Goldie, why I'd like to talk to my people before they come, because there's a lot of things that it does not relate to the Gray Lord scheme. I know about the Gray Lord scheme in Cook County.
No, that was a fake. That was a fake.
But listen, Goldie, please. You know what? Your friend is interrupting our show. Because right now, I didn't want to get into the Gray Lord scheme. A lot of these don't know about the Gray Lord scheme. I know about it. In fact, I know the guy who helped cause the Gray Lord scheme. I didn't want to get into that because that's not relevant now. Because during the time, they had immunity. They had judicial immunity. Today is a new day. They no longer have immunity. This is why you're seeing social workers being prosecuted. We have 4 in California that's getting ready to be prosecuted. We've got 4 in Texas. This is why you're seeing judges stepping down, because we have a new day. So let's talk about the things that we can do now, being that we now have tools to do them, like they no longer have immunity. So being that they no longer have immunity, we should be able to ask them to shut trust down. And that will stop some of the harm that's happening as well as future harm. And then we can go from there. And those people that you talked about, what about happened years ago, blah, blah,